The human body, that magnificent biological machine we all carry around, with millions of years of evolution behind us, you'd think we'd be walking around like perfectly engineered super beings. But nope. Despite all the wonders and complexities, the human body is far from flawless. So today we dive into everything wrong with the human body, because even nature's finest creation has its quirks. Sorry to interrupt, but subscribing is like telling your brain, hey, you deserve this. Treat yourself. It's on the house. The brain, a genius with bugs in the system. Let's start with the brain, the control center of it all. It's a marvel of complexity, processing billions of bits of information and keeping everything running smoothly, most of the time. But while the brain is capable of incredible feats, it's also hilariously inefficient. Ever walked into a room and completely forgotten why? Yeah, blame your brain. Memory is another thing. We remember song lyrics from 15 years ago, but can't recall where we left our keys 5 minutes ago. And don't even get me started on multitasking. We like to think we can handle 10 things at once, but the reality is we're just switching between tasks like a clumsy juggler with too many balls in the air. And then there's the sleep thing. For a machine that's so efficient, why does it require a third of our lives spent unconscious? Shouldn't evolution have figured out a way to keep us running without this much downtime? Imagine what we could achieve if we didn't have to lie in bed for 8 hours straight, lost in dreams of bizarre situations that make zero sense, don't you think? Teeth. Nature's poorly planned chompers. Next up, teeth. You'd think that something as important as chewing your food would be built to last, right? Well, apparently not. Your teeth are more like high-maintenance porcelain. One wrong bite on a hard piece of candy, and suddenly you're booking a dental appointment and wondering how one tiny chip could cost so much. Not to mention, our teeth start out crooked more often than not, forcing most of us into a teenage rite of passage involving metal braces, headgear, and endless dentist visits. Wisdom teeth? Yeah, those are the real MVPs of unnecessary body parts. Once upon a time, they served a purpose, back when our ancestors were chewing on raw meat and tree bark. But now they mostly serve as a reminder that the human body is carrying around some outdated baggage. They crowd our mouths, get impacted, and lead to painful surgeries. And let's not forget how bad the design is when it comes to maintenance. Forget to floss for a few days, and it feels like your teeth are plotting revenge. Cavities, sensitivity, gum disease, it's like the body installed these chompers with a built-in expiration date, leaving us all wondering, was there really no better option? The spine, backbone of our upright existence. Now let's talk about the spine. You know, that column of vertebrae holding everything together. Well, let me tell you, our spines are a real structural nightmare. Evolution didn't quite get the memo when it decided to make us walk upright. Originally designed for four-legged creatures, the spine isn't exactly thrilled with our new bipedal lifestyle. We've all been there. Bend over to tie your shoes, and suddenly your back feels like it's been hit by a wrecking ball. And don't even think about sitting in a chair for too long. Your spine turns into a grumpy old man who's fed up with your terrible posture, leaving you with a stiff neck, sore lower back, and a sudden desire to lie flat on the floor forever. Herniated discs? Yep, those happen because the spine wasn't really designed to take the daily pressure we put on it. And scoliosis? Just another reminder that evolution sometimes throws things together with duct tape and hopes for the best. For a structure that's supposed to support us, it sure loves to complain. The digestive system, a series of unfortunate events. The digestive system is another roller coaster of biological misfires. It's one of the most important systems in the body, breaking down food, absorbing nutrients, and basically keeping us alive. But for something that's so critical, it's surprisingly unreliable. Where do we even begin? Heartburn, gas, bloating, constipation. It's like your digestive system is on a never-ending quest to make you uncomfortable at the worst possible moments. Take the stomach, for instance. It's filled with acid strong enough to dissolve metal, yet Somehow it manages to burn a hole through its own lining when you're stressed. And don't even get me started on indigestion. You eat a slice of pizza too quickly, and suddenly it feels like your stomach is staging a revolt. Then there's the whole lactose intolerance fiasco. Imagine being an adult and suddenly realizing your body can't handle milk. Milk! Something most of us were practically raised on. It's like evolution decided, you know what, humans? I'm gonna make sure some of you can't enjoy ice cream anymore. Have fun with that. The intestines? They're like a never-ending maze of tubes that sometimes get tangled up in themselves, leading to digestive disasters like irritable bowel syndrome or worse, appendicitis. Why is there a vestigial organ in there that might just decide to explode one day? Again, poor planning, Mother Nature. Eyes. Great for seeing, terrible for everything else. Ah, the eyes. Our windows to the world. But have you ever stopped to think about how ridiculously fragile they are? Sure, they're great for seeing in well-lit conditions, but step into a slightly dim room and suddenly you're stumbling around like you're blindfolded. And speaking of blind spots, why do we have those? Our eyes are designed to miss a portion of our vision field. Seems like a major oversight. Let's talk about nearsightedness and farsightedness. Why are so many people walking around needing glasses or contacts just to function? You'd think by now evolution would have perfected the art of clear vision, but nope. Our eyes have decided that being blurry half the time is just fine. And then there are the constant eye issues. Dry eyes, itchy eyes, red eyes, and worst of all, floaters. You're just trying to enjoy a peaceful day, and suddenly there's a ghostly blob floating in your field of vision. Try explaining that to someone without sounding slightly insane. The skin, your fragile, leaky shield. Skin, the largest organ of the human body, is designed to protect us from the outside world. But let's be honest, it's about as tough as wet tissue paper. One tiny scrape or bump and boom! You've got a paper cut that makes you question your pain tolerance. And don't even think about going outside without sunscreen, because UV rays will turn your skin into a crispy reminder of why we invented SPF 50. Acne? Oh yeah, your skin's way of saying, hey, just because you're not a teenager anymore doesn't mean you're free from embarrassing breakouts. And speaking of embarrassing, why does the body insist on growing hair in all the wrong places? Nose hair, ear hair, random stray hairs in weird places. It's like the body gave up trying to make us look good and just started planting follicles wherever it felt like. Then there's aging. As we get older, skin becomes wrinkled, saggy, and far less elastic. Suddenly, you look down at your hands, and they resemble the hands of someone twice your age. It's the body's way of reminding us that no matter how hard we try, we're all destined to end up looking like a crumpled up piece of paper. The immune system. The immune system is like the bouncer of the body, keeping out the bad guys, bacteria, viruses, fungi, and for the most part, it does a pretty good job. But sometimes it's like that overzealous bouncer who refuses to let anyone into the club, even if they've got a valid ID. Enter allergies. The immune system freaks out at the sight of harmless things like pollen, pet dander, or peanuts, and suddenly you're sneezing uncontrollably or puffing up like a balloon. Autoimmune diseases, that's when the immune system really loses it and starts attacking your own body, mistaking your cells for invaders. It's like your defense system suddenly decides it's going rogue. And we haven't even touched on the common cold, something that's been around for millennia and still manages to knock us down with sneezing, coughing, and misery. Shouldn't we have figured out a way to beat this thing by now? The reproductive system. Reproduction. The one system that's supposed to ensure the survival of the species, yet it's probably one of the most overcomplicated, finicky systems in the body. First, let's talk about fertility. Trying to get pregnant? There's a short window of time each month where it's even possible. Good luck hitting that mark. And yet, for those who don't want kids at the moment, the system seems to work all too well. leaving humanity to rely on science to figure out the right timing. Periods? Every month, women are treated to a lovely visit from Aunt Flo, complete with cramps, bloating, and mood swings. It's as if the body decided, hey, let's make sure you suffer every month, even when you're not reproducing. What was the logic there? Evolution. And let's not ignore how hilariously fragile the male reproductive system is. One slight bump to the groin, and a grown man is on the floor, writhing in agony. Not exactly the robust design you'd expect from something that's so important for the future of humanity. Aging. The ultimate betrayal. Aging is the body's final slap in the face. You spend your youth thinking you're invincible, only to hit your 30s and start realizing that your body has a different agenda. Joints start creaking like rusty hinges. You can't recover from a workout like you used to. And suddenly, getting out of bed feels like an Olympic event. Gray hairs pop up, wrinkles start settling in, and your metabolism decides to take a permanent vacation. Then there's memory. Remember how sharp it used to be? Good luck recalling where you left your phone when you're 60. You start feeling like your body is just a rental car, and the lease is about to run out. Aging isn't just a process, it's a slow-motion betrayal where your body starts reminding you, hey, you're not getting any younger. It's like a gradual decline into a state of constant maintenance, and no amount of kale or yoga can stop it. Knees, the human Achilles heel. Ah yes, the knees. They bear the weight of the entire body and let us do all kinds of fun things like running, jumping, and crouching. But let's be honest. Knees are the weakest link in the human body's structural design. One wrong move during a light jog or even stepping off a curb and boom, you're on crutches for 6 months, sporting a knee brace that makes you look like you're part robot. For all their importance, knees are surprisingly fragile. Just ask anyone who's ever torn their ACL, MCL, or any of the other letters in that alphabet soup of ligaments. And don't even get me started on runner's knee. The body decided to put one of the most crucial joints in a spot that, over time, practically guarantees problems. Want to climb stairs in your 40s? Better have some ibuprofen on hand because those knees are going to scream. Oh, and arthritis, because apparently, knees like to remind us of their fragility well into our later years. Evolution. You had millions of years to sort this out. Maybe reinforce the knee joints with something a bit more durable next time, like, I don't know, adamantium? Ears, great for hearing, terrible for everything else. Now let's talk about the ears for a moment. Sure, they're useful for hearing, but that's about where the benefits end. For something so important, ears are incredibly sensitive and prone to all sorts of issues. One moment, you're enjoying a nice breeze, and the next you've got an ear infection that feels like someone's drilling into your head. And what's with the earwax? Why does our body produce this sticky, gunky substance that requires regular maintenance? It's like nature's cruel joke, giving us a self-cleaning oven but forgetting the self-cleaning part. Then there's the phenomenon of random ringing in the ears known as tinnitus. 1 second, you're going about your day, and the next, you've got an incessant high-pitched squeal in your ear for no reason. Let's also acknowledge that the design of the ears leaves them vulnerable to all kinds of unpleasantness. Infections, wax buildup, and worst of all, sensitive to sound. Accidentally blast your headphones a little too loud? Congrats. You might be dealing with hearing loss down the road. The only thing they do more reliably than hearing is give us grief. The appendix. Nature's useless time bomb. The appendix is a true relic of evolution. Once believed to have a digestive purpose in our distant herbivore ancestors, it now just sits there, doing absolutely nothing until it decides to explode. There's no warning. 1 minute you're fine, and the next your appendix is inflamed, and you're on your way to the ER for emergency surgery. It's like carrying around a tiny, unpredictable time bomb in your body. Bladders, the inconvenient storage unit. Finally, let's talk about the bladder. It's like the body's version of a ticking clock. Drink a bit too much water, and you're running to the bathroom every 15 minutes like you've got a fire drill. Meanwhile, the bladder has no sense of timing. It'll strike at the worst moments. Long car ride? Oh, you're definitely going to have to pee the second you hit traffic. Important meeting? your bladder decides that's the time to make itself known. And let's not even mention the fact that as you get older, your bladder seems to get weaker and weaker. Nighttime trips to the bathroom become routine, and suddenly, it feels like your entire day revolves around figuring out where the nearest restroom is. So, there you have it. Everything wrong with the human body. For all its miracles, it's a mess of fragile systems, outdated features, and design flaws that would make any engineer cringe. From random pain and malfunctioning organs to the ultimate betrayal of aging, it's clear that while the body can do amazing things, it could have used a little more fine-tuning. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more cool videos. See you in the next.